Hey guys, welcome to another episode. Oh, did you want to say something first before
No,
I go
no,
into
no,
the beginning of the episode, Ian?
no, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, God. Thanks for the permission. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Entertainment Now podcast. My name is Nick.
I'm Ian.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, you might be thinking, what the fuck is going on?
It's like a fever dream.
It's like if the video looks like some kind of bad 1980s rock video. We got these really kind of cheesy looking avatars that we're using in the video to record today.
Yeah, it's the beta versions of Zoom avatars, So hey, we'll give it a shot just for shits and giggles.
You're a beta version, Ian.
you're a
I'm a fucking alpha version. Great comeback, Ian.
Your comments mean nothing to me.
Thanks. Hey, I got a little. You can see my beard. So that's a good looking beard for the avatar. I think. I was a little disappointed in the way the avatars looked, but I think my head looks like a fucking egg. But whatever.
Yeah, that's not even with the avatar.
Why is it laughing like that?
I don't know.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, leave us a comment, give us the old thumbs up. Even though the avatar doesn't have hands, so he doesn't.
I know
he doesn't do the thumbs up,
right?
But do all the YouTube kind of stuff. If you're listening to this on your podcatcher, leave us a 5-star review and go on YouTube so you can laugh at our dumb looking fucking avatars.
Yes, because they are dumb. I mean, they're cool. I'd much rather look at the avatar than myself, but
Yeah. So what's been going on, Ian?
Nothing. I'm just playing with the because the lip, the lips moving. So yeah, nothing.
Nothing at all.
No, nothing.
There was not. There was a show you were going to talk about.
Oh, I thought you just meant in general.
And that's like so like when I say that's so I'm trying to lead you into the conversation, Ian.
Oh,
so let me try this again. So Ian, anything else going on?
You know what? There's something very exciting from my perspective, and it's probably
what might that be?
It is that Disney Plus will be streaming the Star Wars Ahsoka show in August. And I'm super excited about that. That's the show I've been waiting for.
So
as much as I've loved everything that they've done so far on the Star Wars front, as far as live action shows, Ahsoka is what I've been dying to see.
Yeah. So I'm not familiar with what this show is. So why don't you, because didn't you say it was on the part of the Clone Wars series?
No, well, Ahsoka is a character that was introduced in the Clone Wars series.
Okay.
She was Anakin Skywalker's apprentice. And so her story arc is all in the animated Clone Wars, essentially. But she was Anakin Skywalker's apprentice. And when she was first introduced, everyone hated her. She was like practically the Jar Jar Binks of the Clone Wars. Until about the end of the first season into the second season. Then people started to see what they were doing with her. They were developing her character much better. And it got to the point by the end of the 5th season where you find out why she wasn't even mentioned in Revenge of the Sith. Kind of. And because she was framed for attacking the Jedi Temple. And none of the Jedi backed her up except for Anakin Skywalker. They all just said, okay, well, this is the evidence and she's guilty and she has to be tried. So when they found out she proved her innocence, she still left the Jedi Order because they didn't back her up. And jump ahead to Rebels, which takes place before A New Hope. She's actually a member of the Rebel Alliance. And they did this awesome character development with her and explained why she wasn't in the original trilogy. And then she came back in The Mandalorian as a live action character played by Rosario Dawson.
I haven't seen the new season of Mandalorian yet.
Oh, she was in the 2nd season.
Was she?
Yeah, she was. I forgot what episode it was. Episode
Maybe I didn't see the second season either.
8, maybe. I think it was episode 8. Oh, the second season is really good. But yeah, so and there's a couple things that they do with her in that first episode she's in season 2, where they set up what her show could be. And then she shows up again in the Book of Boba Fett.
Which I haven't watched that either.
Right. To be honest with you, it's a good show. It's a weak show. The best part of that show is the Mandalorian episodes, which is one of which is the one with Ahsoka in it. And the third season of Mandalorian, which is almost done, or will be done when this episode goes out, it has elements of setting up Ahsoka's show too. So she hasn't been in the new season yet, though. I don't know if she's going to show up in the next episode or not,
but what's the whole like plot of the series
of Ahsoka?
Yeah.
So it's essentially her trying to fix some of the things that happened at the end of Rebels, specifically the character of Ezra. In order to save his planet, I don't want to go into too because I have to explain a lot of lore, but he takes Grand Admiral Thrawn, who's the big threat in the Rebels series, and gets them shot out into the outer part of the galaxy, so they're lost. And in Mandalorian, in the first episode that Ahsoka's in, she is trying to breach this fortress that's controlled by this evil woman. And when she gets in there, she really wanted to get to this woman to find out where Grand Admiral Thrawn is, because she needs to find Ezra. Because Ezra is the reason why Darth Vader didn't kill her in the Rebel series. So he saved her life, and she wants to try and rescue him from the unknown regions of space.
Okay.
So from what I gather for this new series, it's all live action. So it's all these characters who were created for animation who are now going to be in live action.
Yeah.
She's getting them together because she's got a lead on Grand Admiral Thrawn, and they're going to try and find Ezra. Ezra was trained as a Jedi as well by Kanan Jarrus, who dies, spoiler alert, who dies in Rebels.
Next ruin the series for me, Ian.
I didn't ruin anything. There's so much more to it than that. Way more than
Well,
that.
I'll probably never watch it anyway, so it won't matter.
Yeah, so yeah, there's just so much going on in the Ahsoka show that I am so looking forward to. And it's the first show, like, pretty much solo written and run by Dave Filoni, who, in my opinion, is, I mean, Jon Favreau is fantastic, but together they've been doing Mandalorian and all that. But
yeah,
Dave Filoni is the one who did all of the Clone Wars. He did all of Rebels. He basically was an apprentice to George Lucas. George Lucas taught him everything about what he saw the Star Wars world to be, the universe to be. And Dave Filoni is like the keeper of that. So anything Dave Filoni does is generally awesome as far as Star Wars goes. So
sounds good. I mean, I'll watch it once it comes out.
You'll have to watch Mandalorian and Boba Fett, though, because like I said, there's elements in that are setting her show up.
Yeah.
But August, I don't know what exactly, they didn't say what day it starts, but it's starts streaming in August.
Okay. Guess I've got it actually up on my screen here. I was gonna scroll through and see if it had what day. It just says August.
Yeah, just as August.
That's weird because it's only 3.5 months away. So
right.
I think they'd have a
there's a trailer. If you should watch the trailer.
I watched the trailer already.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, Skeleton Crew, sometime at the end of the year, probably December, late November, early December, Skeleton Crew, which is supposed to kind of, it's separate, but it's going to tie into what's going on with Ahsoka and Mandalorian a little bit, because it's all in the same time frame. So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm excited for all the stuff post Return of the Jedi, pre-sequel trilogy. All that area is the era
Which,
of Star Wars that I'm the most excited about.
and they're doing what? Now there's a sequel, or no,
Well,
yeah, a sequel series to the sequel series.
well, they're just spin-offs, I guess you could call them, but it's kind of like what Marvel's doing. Each series is stands alone,
No,
but they're
what's the new
connected.
mirror? What's the new movie with Ray?
Oh, that's just a movie. I don't know if they're going to call it episode 10 or what, but
That's all. That's all I was talking about.
yeah, they announced 3 new movies too at Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah,
One is the beginning of the Jedi, so like 10,000, 25,000 years in the
I'm
past.
really excited for that one. I think
That
that's gonna be a really good one.
Yeah, that people are really super stoked about that one. Then there's a Dave Filoni is getting a movie, which will be taking place in this era that he's working in with the TV series.
Yeah,
And then I forgot the director of the other one, but it's Ray, and it's 15 years after Rise of Skywalker. If they can, hey, if they can fix some of the problems I have with the sequel trilogy, it's fine. I'm okay with it. But
yeah,
and to be fair, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, I think, are starting to try and work some fixes in on the before end as well. So who knows? We'll see what happens.
there's one thing that you know you can guarantee, and that is since Disney bought Star Wars, they're going to continue to have Star Wars content.
Yes.
There's not going to be a 20+ year gap where there's nothing going on.
No, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have good Star Wars.
That's true.
So
that's true. I mean, what I've seen so far, there's nothing I haven't liked. As much as I had issues with some of the last 3 movies, all 3 of them were still good fucking movies.
Yeah. I would argue maybe that, but I think Solo was a good movie. I think Rogue One was the best of all of them of the Disney movies so far.
Yeah.
And I'm not alone in saying that. Most people consider that to be the best
Oh.
one.
A lot of people fucking hated Solo too.
That's true, but
I thought Solo was fantastic.
I agree. Solo and Rogue One are my 2 favorite out of the Disney ones, and Rogue One is by far it's like a magnitude of 10 above even Solo, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I don't really even see Rogue One necessarily as its own movie. I see it as like part 1 of A New Hope.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're right.
In fact, whenever I watch
it is a prequel to A New Hope.
Right. In fact, whenever I watch Rogue One, I only watch it when I know that I can watch Rogue One and A New Hope back to back.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
that's how I watch them.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't put my finger on exactly why I'm not a huge fan of Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was a good movie, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just not. It's not one of my favorites to watch.
I would say when season 2 of Andor is done, and you can kind of go back and watch Andor season 1 and 2 together, and then watch Rogue One, I think you might appreciate it a lot more.
Maybe, yeah, that might be true.
Because honestly, that's a lot of what the purpose of the Andor series is to kind of flesh out that character of Andor and his role in everything else going on around him, which will flesh out other characters that showed up in Rogue One.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think once you watch all that, then at that point, Rogue One may not be the prequel to A New Hope. It'll be the end of that level. It'll be the finale of Andor, leading into A New Hope. You know what I mean? I might be able to separate it then at that point.
No, yeah, you're probably right. I don't say that very often, Ian, but you're probably right.
When it comes to Star Wars and Star Trek, I'm generally right.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but
yeah, I'm right. Trust me.
You hated the new Star Wars movie, new Star Trek movies. I thought they're pretty good. So
they're good movies. They're terrible Star Trek movies.
yeah, see, well, but
you can like them as movies. They're fine as movies. They're well made. Their acting's fantastic. You know, there's nothing wrong with them on that level. They're just not good Star Trek. That's all.
But that's not what we came to talk about today.
No, it's
I don't know why my avatar's eyes were closed for so fucking long. Look at these damn avatars, kind of throw me off. But no, because
I'm not used to not seeing my hands flapping around in the screen. That's throwing me off.
That and my avatar has like weird head movements when I go to take a drink, or
yeah,
whatever. It's just kind of funny. But so we've both been long time fans of Quentin Tarantino. What is your head doing? Looks like your head was like drifting off. Like,
I was just leaning over to the side a little bit.
Oh,
fidgeting in my chair.
Gotcha.
Another benefit.
You're like swaying around. I don't know what the hell's going on.
It's kind of the benefit of having the avatars. I don't look like I have, Parkinson's disease.
Yeah. You're a fidgety kind of person.
I'm a fidgety person. I can't really sit still very well.
So we've both been fans of Quentin Tarantino for a long time. For me, I think it was probably the first time that I saw Reservoir Dogs. Probably, it was the first thing I saw of his, and I've been kind of hooked since then. And that was what 92 when that movie came out. So it's probably maybe 93, maybe early part of 94 when I first saw it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It was a little later for me. I think I saw it I saw it after Pulp Fiction. I saw Pulp Fiction.
So yeah, Pulp Fiction came out in 94. So it was probably right around that same time. Because I didn't see Pulp Fiction for a little bit until after it came out. I think I saw Reservoir Dogs over Corey's house, and then we went and saw Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
But he's had some hugely iconic movies over his career.
Yes.
Thank you for your input, Ian. But but the funny thing is about Quentin Tarantino is he only lists, like, to him, he only counts his 10 movies that he directed.
Right.
And so when we're going to talk about some of our favorite Quentin Tarantino movies, or like the top 5 Quentin Tarantino movies that at least in our opinions, I look at more of a broad spectrum. I look at like stuff that he because I would put True Romance in there, but he didn't direct True Romance. He doesn't count True Romance as one of his films. He just wrote it. From Dusk Till Dawn is a fantastic movie, one of my favorites of his. He doesn't count that out as one of his movies though, because he only wrote it, he didn't direct it.
He started it though.
He did star in it. No, he's always in his movies. He's in most of them.
Most of them, yeah.
Because now that I think about it, I don't know if he was in Django.
I don't recall seeing him, and actually, I'm hard pressed to think about seeing him in the Kill Bill movies, and those are probably the 2 that I've watched the most of his.
Yeah, and I don't think he was in Inglourious Bastards either.
Right? Yeah, I don't remember seeing him in that either.
But you have yet to watch Hateful Eight or
Once Upon a Time
in Hollywood.
Yes. Yeah, I know. It's sad, isn't it? He's one of my favorite directors, and I'm 2 of his last 2 movies I still haven't even watched.
And one came out 8 years ago. Like,
right. Well, it came out when I was at the video store, so it's like, I probably should have seen it, but
yeah. Is there a reason why? Like,
well, I was even late to Django, to be fair. I don't like Westerns.
Okay.
So that's kind of been a turnoff in a sense.
Those really aren't Westerns though, but
no, they are. They're just they're Tarantino Westerns. So that's what makes the difference for me. Because I loved Django once I finally watched it. Yeah. I just have never gotten around to watching The Hateful Eight.
Yeah, Hateful Eight's a really good movie. That's the thing I can say is Quentin Tarantino, I don't think has made a bad movie.
Right.
Granted, I've not seen Death Proof.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet either.
And he didn't write or direct what was the second one? Planet
Planet
Terror.
Terror. Yeah. So that was Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, he just produced it. So I haven't seen either one of those.
You go somewhere?
No, did you go somewhere? What do you get so
No.
quiet for?
No, I thought you were still talking, so I just was waiting for you
No.
to finish your thought.
I think Ian used all of his words up talking about Star Wars. He's got nothing else to say now.
Blah 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 blah.
But like what so how do you look at his movies? Do you look at just the 10?
When we're talking about the Tarantino films, yes, I think about just the 10. That doesn't mean that's the be all and end all of what I see as his career, but because he's always said he wants to make 10 movies. Well, his next movie will be his 10th movie, but that means that you only count the movies that he counts as the first 9, even though he has delved into other areas. So, producing, writing, that sort of thing. So, as far as that goes, yes, I see what his point is, and I love all the movies I've seen of his. And True Romance is a fantastic film. That's a Tony Scott film too. Tony Scott's a great action director. He directed one of my favorite action films of all time. And From Dusk Till Dawn is a fantastic horror film. The sequels were questionable, but the original was fantastic.
No, the first one was good. The sequel, I only saw I think the second one. It was bad. Like
they
made
a TV series too with it, and I never watched that either.
I think they did.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, like, I wonder why he classifies some movies as part of his like 10 movies and other movies why he doesn't. Because like his very first movie, My Best Friend's Birthday, he was the writer, he produced it, and he directed it. But he doesn't count that as one of his 10 movies.
Was it theatrically released?
Oh, I guess this does say, hold on, if I click on the note here, it says amateur film. So maybe that's why. Okay. So he's got Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown,
Mm-hmm.
Kill Bill 1, Kill Bill 2. Does he count those as 2 separate movies?
I'd have to count all the movies to see, because I know which movies he does.
If you count it, because if you count them as separately, he's got 10 already.
Then he counts them as one.
He counts them as one. Okay. Because you got Kill Bill 1 and 2, you got Death Proof, Inglourious Basterds, Django, Hateful Eight, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Right.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
I was not a big fan of the end of it, though.
Well, don't tell me, because I didn't watch it. I'll probably try to watch it this weekend, actually.
And I get it. It's supposed to be like a, it's not, it's a, like a revisionist history kind of movie.
Right. Well, the same way Inglourious Basterds is.
Yes. But the funny thing is, I didn't have a problem with the ending of Inglourious Basterds the way I had an issue with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay. I'll have to watch it, and then we can discuss that.
Yeah. So what are some of your favorites?
Well, my favorites are the Kill Bill films. Especially Kill Bill 1, volume 1. Yeah. I love that movie. I could watch that movie over and over again. It has one of the best choreographed sword fight scenes I've ever seen. 2 of them actually, but one's very subtle and one is just over the top. And just overall, the whole, like, how he's kind of playing. It's a theme. It's got a theme, and the theme is old kung fu movies, revenge story within a kung fu film. Much like Django is a slight Western, Heath Ledger Westerns, but they're his stories within that like theme.
Yeah.
So I've always liked kung fu movies, but Japanese storytelling, Chinese storytelling is different than Western storytelling. And I sometimes have an issue, not an issue. I have difficulty with the non-linear, or well, I guess it's non-linear, but they focus more on subplots a lot of times than they do the actual plot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the only way I can really describe it without actually sitting down and truly analyzing it. But whereas, so the B plot and the C plot of a Japanese film will be more important than the A plot, whereas Western storytelling, the A plot is more important than the B and C plots.
Yeah.
So
it's just a very different.
It's just a very different.
It's a very unorthodox kind of way to do storytelling.
Well, yeah, it's unorthodox
based off of what we know,
right? To Western storytelling. So this is kind of in many ways, and Tarantino does try to emulate that a little bit, but he's still doing it from a Western perspective. So it's all of the good stuff from the kung fu films that I like, without the burden of trying to navigate the different subplots back to the main story. So it's one of those rare occasions where because Tarantino is not a linear storyteller either. He tells his stories out of order.
Oh yeah, look at Reservoir Dogs.
Right. All of his movies have that element to them, and Kill Bill is no different. And that adds to it. It kind of brings that maybe some of those B plots and C plots more to the forefront without them overtaking the A plot. If that makes any sense.
It does.
So, but I love Kill Bill. It's my favorite of his films, and I'm probably in the minority there, but I think it's definitely one of my favorites in his films.
I don't know if I've ever seen all of part 2. Right. I remember watching part 1. I think you had it on DVD, didn't you?
Yeah, I had them both, but I like I said, part 1's the one I watched the most.
So I remember watching part 1, but I don't remember finishing part 2. I probably should go back and revisit them, because it's been, almost 20 years since I've seen the first one.
I want to say the movies are almost 20 years old. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Volume 1 came out in 2003, so yeah, it's
20
years this year. Yeah. For me, it's always going to be Reservoir Dogs. I mean, it's a hard movie to beat. The overall storytelling is fantastic. The way he shot the movie, people weren't making movies like that in 1982.
No, he actually created kind of I mean, he didn't create the style, but he made it mainstream, and a lot of other directors tried to copy him after that.
Yeah. And every aspect of that movie is just great. I will say that it's like, I think it's the only of his movies that doesn't have a great soundtrack. That's the one thing that Quentin Tarantino really prides himself on is create. I mean, I shouldn't say that. That actually has a really good soundtrack, but it's not quite as good as the rest of the soundtracks from all the rest of the Tarantino films.
Right.
But the overall story is great. The acting is fantastic in it. And he was able to pull everything off in that movie that he wanted to.
Right.
But so that'll always be number 1 for me.
Yeah, Reservoir Dogs is probably like number 3, maybe.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, because it would be difficult to say that Pulp Fiction isn't my second favorite, honestly.
Pulp Fiction is probably my number 2 also.
Right. But that would pop Reservoir Dogs in the number 3 spot for me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you're comparing Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, in my opinion, this is just me, I think Pulp Fiction is a better film. but it's also a film made by a director who's had some experience. So it's,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's tweaked more over Reservoir Dogs. Reservoir Dogs is very much, in my opinion, it's obvious that it's a first film, but
Yeah.
it's the first film of a very talented person. You know, his first film is better than most people's 15th film, is my, I guess is the only way I could really say that. But that being said, it's still obvious it's his first big film. And you can see the improvement over it to Pulp Fiction. Whether or not you could argue maybe the story's a little bit better with Reservoir Dogs, maybe it is, because I think Pulp Fiction is a slightly simpler story too.
Yeah.
But you know, I think Pulp Fiction is a better film. So I'd be hard pressed to put Reservoir Dogs above Pulp Fiction based on that standard.
You know, they're very much like 1A and 1B for me, because you're right. You know, what they were able to accomplish in Pulp Fiction, it is a great movie. It definitely deserved the accolades it's gotten over the years. You know, the acting in it is, you know, top notch. Of course, you got you know, anytime you got Sam Jackson in a movie, it's always a big bonus for you. And not only is the movie iconic, scenes in that movie are iconic, lines in that movie are iconic. You know, it is, you know, yeah, it is a fantastic movie. It's definitely one of my top favorites.
Yeah, I guess the only one of his films that I obviously haven't seen Death Proof or Hateful Eight or Once Upon a Time, but Jackie Brown is probably my least favorite of his films. Still like it, but it's definitely my least favorite.
I would agree with you. I think that it's the only movie, like it's still a good movie, but he wasn't quite, I don't think it came across the way he wanted it to.
Well, it was also a film that wasn't his original idea either. It was based on a book. It was Quentin Tarantino adapting a book,
Yeah.
and he did a great job with it. It's a great film, but I think what hurts it is the fact that it's not his original idea. So he had to work someone else's idea into his style and his method of filmmaking, which
And
again, to be fair, is still fantastic. Just is my least favorite of his films.
I will say that I don't know how much of the book he used though.
Yeah, I've never read it.
That's the thing I don't know. It was Rum Punch was the name of the novel, but
Right. Yeah, I never read it.
We went and saw that on what it was a Christmas Day. We went and saw that
1997. Yeah,
1997. Yeah, which I think was the day it came out. I think
it was opening day. Yeah, it opened on Christmas Day, and we were in a packed theater, which I don't know if that's just because it was Christmas Day or if it was because it was a Tarantino film, and it was his follow up to Pulp Fiction, which
yeah.
is maybe another reason why it landed a little weaker for me, because it was a follow up to such a great film.
And yeah, I mean that's a great point, because it's hard, as great as Pulp Fiction is, it was going to be hard to live up to the hype. And maybe he kind of stumbled over some stuff in making that movie that he might not have had he not been following up that movie.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
But I mean, the movie still did pretty good. You know, on a budget of 12 million, it made 75 million.
Well, that's more of a testament to him than I think to anything else.
And I guess there was, well, so maybe there wasn't really that stumbling block because of Pulp Fiction. Now that I'm like looking at his movies, like he did Natural Born Killers. Granted, he did the story for it. It wasn't necessarily his movie.
No, and it was
But
more or less
he was
stolen,
involved with that.
Is that the one that Oliver Stone kind of stole from him?
I think so, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I think it is. He wrote From Dusk Till Dawn. Well, actually, before that, he did Four Rooms, which Four Rooms was heavily publicized because of Pulp Fiction.
Right, because it
And
had
I think
Tarantino on the end on the last segment, and it had Tim Roth in it, and a lot of people
yes,
from Pulp Fiction in it.
Pulp Fiction, yes. Four Rooms is another great movie, but after that, he did From Dusk Till Dawn, which he just wrote. And then he did Jackie Brown after that. So it wasn't quite like a direct. He did Pulp Fiction, then he did Jackie Brown. There was some movies, some great movies that received a lot of hype and did really well commercially that he did between Pulp Fiction and Jackie Brown.
True, but what I was pointing out was, for me personally, his follow up to Pulp Fiction, his theatrical follow up, was Jackie Brown.
As far as his
theatrical out
as a director,
right.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, like as you pointed out, Four Rooms. He directed the final segment. Four Rooms is a film with four, there's four rooms. Each room is a segment, and they're all directed by different people. Robert Rodriguez directs one. Quentin Tarantino directs one. I forgot who the other two directed.
I don't know who the other two did. Yeah. Who the other two were.
But he does the final segment, and you pointed out that it's your favorite of the bunch. I had to think about it. It probably is my favorite of the bunch too, but all of them are good. It's
Allison Anders did one room.
She did the witches one, didn't she?
Alexandre Rockwell did the other one.
Okay. And it's funny because now I can't remember what the second one was. Was it the husband and wife?
I think it was. Yeah, it had to have been because it was the first one was the
yeah, because the wife tries to seduce Tim Roth, the bellboy, and the husband comes back, if memory serves.
No, that's the first one.
The first one's the witches.
No, the second one was the witches, I think.
Are you sure? I'm gonna have to watch it again. I think I have it. I have it on DVD somewhere.
I mean, I'm looking at it on Wikipedia right now.
Oh, okay.
The first one was The Honeymoon Suite, which was written and directed by Allison Anders, which is the one you were talking about. The second one was Room 404, The Wrong Man, which is the one by Alexandre Rockwell. That was the Oven Full of Witches.
Okay.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe that's not the right order that they were in. I don't fucking remember.
I swore the witches one was the first one, but I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I've watched them.
It was the first one, and then it was the couple, and then it was the one with Robert, the one that the Misbehaviors, which was Robert Rodriguez.
Right, that's the kids and the dead hooker in the mattress.
Yeah, and then the last one was The Penthouse.
Right, which is arguably our favorite one. That's the one that's got Bruce Willis in it.
Yes.
Tarantino's in it. He directed it, of course.
That's where they kind of wrap up the whole movie, is with that one.
Right.
No, it was once again with Four Rooms, like it was with Reservoir Dogs. You weren't getting movies like that either. You didn't have four big directors basically combining together to make a movie.
Not outside of comedy or horror at that point. There have been anthology films in horror. There have been anthology films in comedy, but not like that drama / indie kind of way before that. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I need to go back and rewatch Four Rooms again.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it. It's probably been maybe 10 years or so since I've seen it. But out of his movies, I've probably seen Four Rooms more than a lot of his other movies. But I don't know. I've seen Reservoir Dogs a bunch of times. I've seen Pulp Fiction a bunch of times. From Dusk Till Dawn, of course, I've seen a bunch of times. Um, you know, to be completely honest though, with Jackie Brown, I've never seen it at the theater.
Yeah.
And then I bought it. One of us had it on DVD.
I think you did. I never bought it on DVD.
I remember watching it on DVD probably just once. But I don't know if I've seen it since then. So it's probably been 20 years since I've watched Jackie Brown.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't probably watched it I think I probably only maybe watched it once or twice outside the theater.
It wasn't like it was an okay movie, it was a good movie, but it wasn't strong enough to kind of pull me back in to make me want to watch it multiple times.
That's how I felt about it. It's like it's a good watch if it's on, I'll watch it, but I'm probably not going to go out of my way to watch it.
Yeah.
So that's where I land with Jackie Brown.
But as far as like Tarantino's movies, you know, at number 3, man, that's tough. I would probably have to go with Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah. And then for me, round out my 5, I guess. So Kill Bill, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, Inglourious Basterds, and Django.
Django is my 5th also.
Yeah. Which is, you know, it sounds like we're putting it low, but you know,
we're not. It's just the strength of the movies.
Right. If we're talking about Tarantino films, it's number 5. But if you put it in a category of other films too, it's super high up on the list. It's you know, so I don't want to discredit it in any way where it's, you know, less. It's just, you know, we're dealing with a lot of really good films here that, you know.
I think it was like, I'm trying to think now. I think I actually saw Django before I saw Inglourious Basterds. I think it was Django. I think I watched Django and was really kind of blown away by it, and that's what made me watch Inglourious Basterds. And then of course I saw Hateful Eight, and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when they came out.
Yeah, I saw Inglourious Basterds first. Again, it was during the video store era when it came out on DVD. I watched it pretty much right away.
Yeah. But he's somebody that like I said before, I don't think has made a bad movie. I as much as I can put Jackie Brown at the bottom of the list, it's still a good movie. I think it's still better than a lot of other movies in 1997. Like you know, has he, as far as like awards, has he really won any like big major awards?
I don't think so. I mean, you'd have to look it up, I guess, but I mean, he might have won like Golden Globes and stuff, but I don't think he's never won an Oscar to my knowledge. Let's give it a
that's why I was just kind of scrolling down to look real quick. He reuses a lot of actors, that's for sure.
I think that's a good thing, though. I really do. I like it when directors do that.
So he did win an Academy Award for Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, okay.
He won an Academy Award for Inglourious Basterds, Django, Hateful Eight, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, so he has won some awards then.
He's won 7 Academy Awards. He has won 8 Golden Globes, 11 Saturn Awards, whatever the fuck that means.
They're kind of important, but they're just not seen. They're not held on the same level as Oscars or Golden Globes. Although I don't know if I don't really hold the Golden Globes to be a big thing anyway.
Yeah,
I think the Green Award, but
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was nominated for Best Picture. It didn't win. He's been nominated for Best Director 3 times for Pulp Fiction, Inglourious Basterds, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He didn't win any of those 3 either. but he did win for Best Original Screenplay for Pulp Fiction and Best Original Screenplay for Django.
Okay.
I'm just kind of scrolling down through some of the other ones here. Golden Globe, he won. Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Which, like I said, you haven't seen it, definitely watch it.
Yeah, it's on my list. I want to watch it. I'm going to watch it this weekend, I think.
Yeah. Because it's a really interesting movie. It's really, I like the way they did it, the way they shot it, the storyline. The storyline tracks enough with like known history of Manson and all that stuff that it's believable.
Well, the guy that plays Manson in that movie did such a good job that they used him to play Manson in the show Mindhunter on Netflix, which is a fantastic show. It's kind of a fictionalized account of how the FBI developed their behavioral sciences division.
Yeah.
And the actor who plays Manson in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood plays Manson in that show.
Okay.
And they've done like side by side comparisons of his performance as Manson to actual interview footage of Manson, and you would almost think they were the same person. That's
really?
How good he is. Yeah.
That's cool.
So I mean, that says a lot about his performance in that film. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'd much rather be remembered as playing a character that's not Manson. You know, for what it's worth, he does it fantastically. So
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because yeah, you're right, because the guy did a great job in that movie. I was just scrolling through the awards, and it's really interesting that Christopher Waltz won Best Supporting Actor, won an Oscar in two different uh, Quentin Tarantino movies. He won Best Supporting Actor for Inglourious Basterds, and he also won for Django.
Yep. And both of his performances in those, I mean, he steals the show in both those films.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Yeah. And that's saying a lot considering the weight of the actors that are in those films.
And the Brad Pitt won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I haven't seen that yet, but he was great in Inglourious Basterds. I mean, I've always thought Brad Pitt was an underrated actor. I thought,
absolutely,
being a Hollywood go-to because of his looks was a disservice to him as an actor.
Oh, absolutely, because I mean, look at the incredible movies he's made.
Right.
Yes. I was just trying to think of some off the top of my head. A River Runs Through It.
That's a great movie.
That's a fantastic movie. California was True Romance.
Yeah, he's kind of barely in True Romance, though.
But he does a great job with what he does in it. Right. Legends of the Fall.
Yeah, I never really liked Legends of the Fall, but that's not against him. I just don't like the movie.
Yeah, but like in a row,
12 Monkeys.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Hold on 1 second. So in movies in a row, he did all these in a row: Legends of the Fall, 7, 12 Monkeys, Sleepers, The Devil's Own, 7 Years in Tibet, Meet Joe Black, Fight Club, Being John Malkovich, Snatch, The Mexican, like all those movies in a row. Like right. are great movies.
And 95% of those I would consider great films.
Yeah. And even the movies that like you're right, I'm not a huge fan of Legends of the Fall.
Right.
But his performance in it is fantastic.
Yeah.
Interview with a Vampire, one of my favorite movies of all time. He does a great job in.
Yeah, I agree. He well, even Tom Cruise does a great job in that film. And I don't get me wrong. I think Tom Cruise is an all right actor, but I think he upped his game for Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
never upped it again after that, in my opinion. But he not to say he's a bad actor. He's not that kind of an actor, you know.
Tom Cruise, like I have to give him credit because
he knows how to pick roles.
Yes, that and like I think we would look very differently on Tom Cruise had it not been for the Mission Impossible movies.
Well, see, I like the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Though, is if he didn't do those, I think we'd look differently on him. Because I think for a large part of the 2000s, that's kind of what he's done. But even like with Top Gun Maverick, I mean, he does an incredible fucking job in that movie. I thought he did a really good job with it.
Well, I look at like Vanilla Sky. He's good in it, but I think
it's not a good movie though.
Well, it's an all right movie. The supporting cast is much better in that film than he is. You know, whereas like with Interview with a Vampire, if you're looking at it from an acting perspective, you know, he's keeping up with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt doesn't overshadow him, even though Brad Pitt's fantastic. He's keeping up with him. And he's keeping up with Kirsten Dunst, who, for a child actress, was phenomenal in that film as well.
Absolutely.
Because she had to play a character who's, you know, physically 13, but emotionally in her 40s. And she pulled that off very well. In fact, I would say that's the best she's ever acted too.
I just realized something. Not to interrupt you, but
no,
when I'm looking down at my computer like this,
it's
got my eyes. The avatar's eyes are closed, aren't they?
Yeah,
so that sucks. I've been looking down at my computer. I swear my eyes are closed.
No, I haven't noticed it. It hasn't looked weird. The laughing is delayed, so when you laugh, it takes a second for your avatar to start laughing.
Yeah, but I think Mr. and Mrs. Smith is a really underrated movie. I think he did a great job with that one.
I like that one a lot too. Yeah.
He was in 12 Years a Slave also. God, I forgot about that. That's an incredible fucking movie. Yeah. He played.
I not remember him being in that.
He played like the white obviously the white guy, but he was the guy that came and like I remember them like sitting there like where they're building like a house or something that he was helping them build. He like came and he came and like helped the I don't remember. I'd have to go back and watch it, but I remember him being in it. You know, I know you're not a sports movie fan at all, but Moneyball is a great movie. I think it's probably one of the best roles that Brad Pitt has played in his career.
Well, I mean, I couldn't agree with that just because I haven't seen it, but I also probably wouldn't agree with it just because it's like, you know.
It's not really like a sports movie though. It's about
the money side of things. I get that, but it's not. You know, I don't know that side of sports. Like I like baseball movies. I love baseball movies, but I don't really give two shits about the backside of it, the money.
Well,
side
that's not what the movie is about. The movie is about like the relationships, and it's not so much like the Moneyball is a book that Billy Beane wrote. That's why the title of the movie is that because Brad Pitt plays Billy Beane.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
He was the general manager for the Oakland Athletics, and he looked at things more of like an analytical way than more like a traditional the way that people look at baseball. So it's like I said, it's an interesting movie. It's not like a traditional kind of sports movie that you would think of. He was also in World War Z. World War Z was a great movie. I know a lot of people like to shit on it because it wasn't the greatest zombie movie, but
well, I don't like zombie movies anyway. As far as I'm concerned, there's only the George Romero films are the only good zombie movies, in my opinion.
Yeah, because zombies shouldn't run.
No, they shouldn't.
Out there, but
yeah.
Zombies wouldn't be fast.
Right. Well, the 28 Days Later zombies are okay because they're not really zombies. It's a virus that fucks with the brain. Yeah. So they're visibly they're like zombies, but they're still alive technically.
Yeah.
But with running zombies and the zombies creating the anthill thing and in World War Z,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a well-made movie. And plus it came out when there were so many fucking zombie movies coming out. You know, every week there was a new fucking zombie movie, low
Yes,
budget
there was.
or otherwise. It didn't matter. Everyone was making fucking zombie movies back then. So
Yeah. I don't know how I got off on Brad Pitt when we were talking about Quentin Tarantino, but
well, because he's in
no, that's true.
two of his movies, three if you count True Lies. Because like I said, I forgot he was in True Lies. I don't remember him being in that,
but he's just it's gonna be interesting because I know he said before that he plans on doing 10 movies and 10 movies, and that's it.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see if he really sticks to that.
well, for a while there, his 10th movie was going to be a Star Trek movie.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I don't know
He
if I
was
would
pushing
like that.
for it. No, I wouldn't either, because he wanted to make an R-rated Star Trek movie. You know, which I mean, it's fine, but you know, it's just not something that I just don't think it would have worked.
I don't think it would have. I'm glad it didn't come down to that. But like I said, I'm not sure if it's gonna be. I think he'll probably do more than 10 movies. He just won't classify them. I guess I forgot you can't see me on camera. I'm doing air quotes. My avatar doesn't have hands.
Think about this: half our audience can't see us if they're not watching the YouTube channel anyway. That's why I figured this as just as a fun, like, it's the animated episode.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie though, it's thrown me off.
Is it?
Because I'm used to like seeing you on screen and kind of like playing off of you.
Right.
So I can't like see you and like I don't know. It's hard to play off you when I can't see you.
Right. The only problem I'm having is just how twitchy my avatar is. Because I'm twitchy. So
yeah.
I move around and then my head does that. Or my head does this. And it's like you know, I just don't. That's what I don't like.
Hell, I'm moving. My avatar's not moving.
Right, and that's the thing. It's not moving. It's not like following exactly my flow, but it's like when I was taking a drink of my soda, my head just went like this, with my mouth open.
Yeah.
So I was like, "That's kind of silly."
Oh, you can see my teeth.
Yeah, yeah. So
this is really fucking terrible.
I think you need.
I'll probably cut all this out of the podcast.
Oh, us talking about it.
Yes.
Yeah. Leave it in the video part because I
don't cut anything out of the video part. I just kind of post it. But
gotcha.
I don't know if you're watching this on YouTube. Drop us a comment down below. Let us know what some of your favorite Quentin Tarantino movies are. Because there's a bunch of them, and I think he's done a lot of great ones. What's your head doing, Ian?
I was like I said, I was just kind of shifting in my seat.
No, look like you're about to fall over. But
I know that's what I mean. It's like, you know, I was just leaning over in my seat.
And
it looks like I'm having a stroke. Anyway,
but yeah, go on your Apple Podcasts, go on Spotify, leave us a 5-star review, all that fun stuff. Yep. And I don't know, you got anything else to add, Ian?
No.
Finish watch them damn Quentin Tarantino movies.
Yeah, I'll at least get one of them done. I'll probably watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood this weekend. Yeah. Like I said, Hateful Eight, I really want to watch it, but it's like this weird thing in my head. Just every time I see it, it's takes place in Old West times, and it's just
but it's like
a time I don't really like.
You know? It's a Sam Jackson Western.
Okay. I mean, that does help.
Just watch the fucking thing. Anything that Sam Jackson is going to be good. Well, I shouldn't say that. He was in Snakes on a Plane, but
this is true. Yes.
Most of the stuff.
Loaded Weapon 1.
Was he in Loaded Weapon?
Yeah, he was the main character. He was the black. He was the Danny Glover character of
Oh God, I forgot about that. It was
him and Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
And John Lovitz was the Joe Pesci character.
God, that was terrible.
He gets shot like a billion times, and he's being pulled out on a stretcher. And he looks at Sam Jackson. He goes, "Am I going to make it?" And Sam Jackson goes, "You're going to be all right." And then they zip the body bag, yeah. And throw I love that. That's like my favorite scene in that whole fucking movie.
that was good. That was good. God, I haven't watched that in forever either. But oh, I mean, that's kind of all we got.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Talk to y'all later.
Peace.
Play my role, let me tell you about it. This shit right here, man, I'm about it. Only real niggas reside around me. Yo, old lady, drop a guard around me. Dip like I know you can, bitch. Show me the ropes like we in the rain.